School is a funny thing. I remember at the end of every school year, I would just say to myself, wow, another school year down, but still so many more to go. That is until you do reach the end, where you then say, like, oh crap, that's it. And that's the moment whenever so many of us feel we go over that cliff that seemed so distant our entire lives. I really, really hate how universal of an experience this has become for so many of us, leaving the school system for the first time or just taking some time off. Whenever someone asks you what's next, you just have this wave of stress or anxiety or both wash over you. Even for those who do more schooling or are jumping into a career, it's still hard to avoid that feeling of imminent uncertainty that affects us all. Although everyone knows this feeling of just crazy, not knowing what the hell they're doing after school, I feel like it's not talked about enough, and if it is, it's typically like more concrete ideas about how to find a job, maybe go travel for a while afterwards and see what you like. And while those are all good and things I'll be doing soon, I simply just want to talk about the feeling that you get whenever someone asks, what's next? You know, the dizziness that can come over you whenever that question is thrown at you. Seriously, whenever someone asks me that, I get physically ill. I love planning. I love those who plan. I think that's fantastic and it's great. And I think we all need to do a little bit of planning in our lives from here and there. But I also think we need to give a little bit of leeway and a bit of respect to those who are just figuring it out. And I think that's the majority of us. This is why I fondly think about the quote that James Baldwin wrote in Giovanni's Room, how nothing is more unbearable once one has it than freedom. I find that freedom's kind of been this idea or this thing that's been dangled in front of us our entire time through the school system. And once we get it, it's almost this hollow transition, this hollow experience of, oh, that's what this buildup was for? The strangeness of this terrain and this time in our lives is really something I don't have any answers for, but I just want to talk about it because that's what we need to do. We need to be comfortable with this idea of not knowing what the hell's going on. We kind of just need to suffer through it. And when I say suffer, I just mean that, yeah, it's messy and it's not fun most of the time, but that will help you carve out some sort of track in all this messiness. This might go without saying, but I feel like this time period can give a lot of us youngins a lot of good lessons that we can carry on with us the rest of our lives. Lessons mostly surrounding times of massive change. It ain't easy. This ain't easy. But if we can get more and more comfortable sooner with the idea of change, then it'll likely just help us out down the road. I'm sure you know that it's not a new idea, but it's just an important reminder during this strange period in our lives. If I may, one area that I thought was especially interesting during the pandemic too was getting comfortable with silence, and I'll tell you why. I remember doing online school, and more than anything, I remember just how quiet it was. Just, doing remote work, being alone, and that was really freaky. But I also think that this can be applied to our lives post-grad or post-school, whatever. Just being forced to be with yourself again most of the time. We move places, friends leave. Instead of being down the street, they're states away, thousands of miles away. And this is a rough thing for anyone. It's also a recipe for just being alone and being in solitude. I only emphasize this because it's been such a large aspect of things lately for me personally. We've been thrown into these structures of school where we're always around peers, we're always around others, and while that's good, that was great, it's not a great setup for what's to come. So just being aware that that is a huge shift is pretty key, I think. Very recently, I've also been trying to just look at the days and the months ahead in a different light. When you wake up, it can be easy for dread to kick in. That's happened to me. It'll happen to me again. But I've just been trying to look at it in through a different lens. Looking at the big picture. This is helping me somewhat to just not get so caught up in that dread. Looking at the big picture and then taking tiny, measurable steps every day. I also have to remind myself to really look at the big picture and get excited for what's to come. Literally getting thrilled for the future can be really important. Seeing all your hopes, dreams, your goals, and trying your best to make those a reality is just incredibly important, however big or small that be. That doesn't have to be, work at your dream company next week, but what are some ways you can slightly move towards that? This can look a million different ways, but just having this one or two main things that you really envision yourself being a part of or doing, and then just taking tiny slices off day by day, however small that may be. While this may be obvious advice, I think it's important for people post-grad to have something to strive towards. That really is key. People should absolutely be encouraged to lounge and do nothing and just sit with their thoughts for a bit. But also, it's important to have that North Star, or just to see, be experimenting with what you like. This is an area that I myself am super unsure about and could use your advice. I spent my undergrad in 3 different schools. One, then I transferred to another, and then I did an exchange in the US for my 3rd. And while I made the greatest friends, I love them. I will talk to them and they'll be in my life for, I hope, a very long time. It's still an area that I'm still navigating. More specifically, for the future. I just find it so strange how so many of us are in these institutions for years and years, where we are around people our age, similar interests, and then we just get ripped out of that. And we all go through that, but I just don't see it being just discussed enough, because it is such a strange experience. I feel like I'm pretty independent, but I love my friends. I love the friends I've made, and I'm excited to meet other people, but I still find it strange that whole process occurs. If you have any thoughts, please let me know on that, and I'm gonna try and do another video on that topic in and of itself. So I've been getting this very strong feeling already of longing for the past, and I'm sure many of you have felt that too. I'm still really not sure how I'll be navigating the future, but I don't think it's healthy to think too much about it. Unless you already have plans for, jumping into a job, career, schooling, post-grad, then maybe just take a minute to rest, because I'm sure you need it, and we all need it. It's always good to take a breather. Just take some time to see what the heck is going on in your head, and maybe sort through that stuff. And please, this is a really back and forth street, so let me know how you've been dealing with it. If you have any advice or just thoughts, please let me know. Hopefully we can help each other out in some ways through this mutual experience that we're all going through. So thanks for watching.